I'm Michael with the WriterSanctuary. Now, recently I shared a screenshot of all the that is in my manuscript directly from AutoCrit. Afterwards, I had several people on threads ask me what app I was using. So today I'm going to show you the strong writing reports that are available in the AutoCrit platform. Now, you don't need to absolutely fix everything that AutoCrit points out. Automated systems like AutoCrit, Grammarly, Pro Writing Aid don't take into nuance and style into consideration. In other words, if you try to make the manuscript perfect according to these tools, they'll wind up sounding very robotic. Now, the first report centers around adverbs. According to some experts, using adverbs can make a sentence seem redundant, make the writing unclear, or less concise. And as you can see, I have a terrible habit of using adverbs. But is it necessary to remove them all? In reality, that depends on your audience. None of my beta readers have ever pointed out the overuse of adverbs while reading the manuscript. So while some people point out that they're not necessary, other people just kind of gloss over it. It's one of those things where people have varying opinions of. However, I'm going to go through and clear some of these up because I feel that I can make the sentence more descriptive. Of course, I'm not going to replace them all. Now let's take a look at passive indicators. This will take a second for AutoCrit to scan through your content depending on how long the story is. AutoCrit scans for words that are used for passive voice, which you should avoid whether you're writing a book or a blog post. Active voice is easier to understand and is more direct and concise. In many instances, sentences with the word was and had can be shortened to make them easier to read. Of course, that also depends on how those words were used. Tense consistency is another element AutoCrit will scan for. This is to show whether the tense in your manuscript is relative to the story. If you're writing something in the past tense, you want to avoid present tense terms. That is, unless the tense is relevant to the dialogue. But the tense consistency is great because sometimes a lot of people will mix past, present, and future tense terms in the same paragraph, and you don't want that. Now, showing versus telling is one of the more important of the reports in AutoCrit. At least it is in my opinion. Showing centers around adding description and making someone feel like they are in the scene. However, it can also slow the pace of the book. You don't want a book that is overly descriptive and slow. You can wind up making a very boring read. You have to find a balance between what works best for what you're writing. But showing versus telling report, you can go through all the different terms that it has on it, and it gives you a chance to add a bit more description to the manuscript depending on where they are. You don't necessarily have to clear out every single one of them. Like I said, it'd make for an extremely slow read. Now, cliches are another part of AutoCrit's strong writing report. These are phrases that appear as cliche but don't necessarily impact the book. That really depends on how they are used and throughout the novel. In my case, you can see that I use silver bullet a few times. That's mostly because of the ammunition that is being used in the story. It's not necessarily a cliche if that's what the bullet is. So most of these I'm most likely going to ignore. I might change a few of them here and there, but not as many as AutoCrit wants me to. The next report we come to is redundancies. Now, I don't have too much of a problem with redundancies. In fact, the redundant words in this list are in dialogue, which is how some of the characters actually speak. However, it can be a great report to help you trim down some of the words from sounding redundant in the manuscript, especially if it's not in dialogue. But in this case, I'm not going to bother changing a few of them simply because they are character traits and they are part of how these people speak. And lastly, we have unnecessary filler words, which can be quite a problem in writing. As you can see, I have nearly 800 uses of the words that, as well as 149 uses of the word just. And to be honest, I don't remember writing just that many times. And although AutoCrit seems to think that 149 justs are fine, I'm still going to go through and see if I can trim some of them down. In any case, filler words elongate the sentences and are often unnecessary. However, not all of them need to be removed. In some cases, those words serve a purpose, including the word that. I find that a lot of people wind up using that in unnecessary parts of the sentence, so I am going to go through all of them just to make sure that it flows better. But I'm not going to remove all 700 plus that's. That would just be silly. So there you have it. Those are the 7 reports that are in AutoCrit for strong writing. Remember, this is an automated system run by AI. You still need to go through and decide on if those words are truly worth keeping in or not. Always consider the scene and the story before you change anything that an automated system tells you to. You have the final word over what is needed in your manuscript. Well, that is until you send the manuscript off to a human editor. But that's a video for another time. One of the things I like most about AutoCrit is that it does point out all of those words for you, and you don't have to go searching or sifting through. It'll highlight them, and then you just click on the word, and it'll cycle through every single one. And then I'll read before and after to make sure that the word needs to be adjusted or if I need more description in a certain scene. It's been quite helpful so far, and I've cleared off more than 120 of the versions of that from the very beginning. And as I read through it, I realize that, yeah, a lot of them were filler words. But that's what editing is all about. I just wish AutoCrit wasn't so expensive. Anywho, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button for more videos about self-publishing, blogging, or freelance writing, or anything else I cover. Hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I think that's going to do it for me today. I need to get ready for a video tonight. I'll see you next time.